do tyres, they cover everything.
About
The All Smiling Faces podcast is now sponsored by Tyre Spot, the Northeast's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the GallowgateShots YouTube channel and podcast. We are back live on a Monday night with the Always Smiling Faces podcast. For those of you with a keen ear and keen sight will hear and see that it's me, Mark, tonight in the hot seat.
Is it hot, is it?
It's tepid.
is it moist? The damp seat.
Tepid and moist. Enough about Saturday's performance.
Decker's Tinder profile, that.
But as you can hear and see, I am joined by Messrs. Best and Petrie.
Correct.
Good evening.
Evening, mate. How are you doing?
Petrie or Petrie?
No, it's Petrie.
I've always thought
Petrie,
Petrie, yeah.
But obviously, I don't understand why people say
Petrie.
Yeah. Scottish? Well, it's French, actually, but French then invaded Scotland and someone shagged someone, and then here we are.
That'll be to do with when...
Go on then, Mark. Butcher this issue.
I'm looking forward to this.
Go on.
Hold tight. Mary Queen of Scots.
She was Scottish, yes.
When, with the Catholics, there was the French royal family, and they were taking Catholics, the Protestants, Church of England, was all hoo-ha going
Le
on.
Protestant stage, does it make it sound more French?
Yeah.
Le Protestant. I don't know if that's French for Protestants or not.
That's what it'll be.
Yeah.
That'll be something.
So it'll be
back to those times.
I think as lineage is a throwback to a type of kind of what was called sectarianism, basically.
And funny enough, it's still very much like that in Scotland.
Parts of it.
But we're not yet to talk about
Poor Scorn.
My history.
Anglo-Saxon history mixed in with a bit of Gaelic. So we are here to talk about Newcastle United.
If we must.
We must, unfortunately. That's why people
Could be a
join
rough
in.
in this. Could be a rough
That and the food and other shite that we talk about.
True.
But here we go. Saturday. Fulham away. What were your thoughts going into that one, Bestie?
Do you know, even though we've had a really good recent record against Fulham, I always find that we don't play that. I'd say I always find the games we played down there last year, we played them in the Cup, didn't we? And we played them obviously in the league because we were in the Premier League last year. And both games I thought we kind of scraped through a little bit. And I think back to the Pardew days, I think we got beat 5-2 down there, 5-1 maybe, one of the years under him. And I didn't really fancy it. I would have been happy with the draw on Saturday. What followed, I would have been happy with the draw at any point during proceedings as well, as it turns out. I didn't feel, for all people are saying that we won 5 in a row or something like that at Craven Cottage. I thought that going all right. I think Marco Silva's a canny manager, and the players there that can cause the problems, and obviously they did.
If I put this in right, because I think I've put this in right. So you've got from 2019, 12th of May, Fulham. So it was 4-0, obviously. Yeah. Then 1-1. Then we're 1-2-0, 1-4-1.
Mickey Foley.
1-2-0 in the Cup.
Decent
1-1
run down there.
League. We have done really well, actually.
As I say, last season, those two games, the Cup match and the Premier League match, I just thought we didn't perform brilliantly. Added to how we performed this season so far anyway.
Yeah, it's mental, isn't it? Because this is where it's going to be funny tonight, because there's one side of us trying not to be too... I'm going to be negative tonight, so just get that clear. But I'm trying not to be, because you think we could have been top sitting here still, because it was a draw.
True.
So isn't it mad? I do not feel, by the way, at all that we should be top of the league, right? But technically speaking, if we had to get through that game, we would have been sitting here top because the others drew, right?
God, that feels mad, but you're right.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane, because the performances in that just aren't good enough to be top of the league, right? And I know that everyone says that's sign of a good team, though. If you're losing and you're winning, sorry, apologize. Sorry, that didn't make sense. Sign of a good team if you're playing poorly and still winning. But the problem you've got is when your form is just poor. Like it's, and that's what I'm a bit worried about at the minute. Is that is this just what we are? And maybe I've got a few thoughts on why maybe we are.
See, I'm a little bit going into that game at the weekend. I know we sat here last week and talked about going into that Wolves, and I was, quite going into that thinking, I don't know how we'll fare in this one. We haven't got a good record. And then you were on the other foot, Decker, around saying, it's Wolves, we'll go there, we'll do it. I was very much in that camp this weekend. I fancied we going down there, even with the kind of performances that we've put in this season. They have started pretty brightly, but I just thought that the way that they tend to play may allow us a little bit more creativity space, being able to hit them on the break and stuff like that. How very wrong I was.
Well, yeah, you were again.
It's very rare that, Mark.
Change habit of a
But
lifetime.
when you looked at the team that started the game, obviously there was a few changes in there. But you looked at that starting lineup and it was very strong.
Yeah, when you look at the season that we finished fourth, it's a couple of years ago now, obviously, but a lot of that team, you had Joe Willock, Joe Linton, and Bruno in midfield. I mean, that's that midfield, for as near as damn it. Isaac up front, who hasn't quite got going yet this season, but Gordon was brilliant last season. Harvey Barnes starting as well, which a lot of people have been talking about. We talked about it quite a bit, trying to get that going again. And yeah, what was the back four? We might as well do the whole thing. Trippier, Shea,
Kelly came in at left back.
Kelly, Dan Burn, Nick Pope in goal. That's as close to a first 11, really, as that. I'm off the top of my head. The only players missing Tonali, obviously, on the bench. I think that's fairly close to our strongest team. And looking at, to kind of give credence to what you said earlier, Mark, about how confident you felt, I thought at points against Wolves, it started to look like we were just starting to do what we should be doing, what we expected to do. I thought parts of the Wolves game, we played really well. And I can see why that would have made you maybe feel a bit more kind of bullish about our chances. But that start. You know what it is? Fully enough, right? I've thought this, I had this thought in the car. I was yesterday this morning, noting that I was going to talk about the game at some point tonight. And my old thing, if me auntie had tits, etc., etc., etc. Like, the games that we've won and played badly and lost and played badly, there's not really a great difference between. If the whole game played out as it, and I know that's not how it works because individual instances, like butterfly effect, things change completely. If Joe Willock had stayed on side and Joe Linton had scored early on and Shea had put that one away, both you'd say very feasible, not totally out of the. That's 3 goals for us straight away.
Exactly.
If Nick Pope doesn't. So even though we're lost 3-1, and one of the goals was like a moment of madness by Bruno at the end, which I'm sure we're going to come to. We came so close to, and the difference between us playing well and playing badly, it's the cliche goals change games, or how people's perspective of games are. And we could have won that one 3-1, and it wouldn't have been like because we had the chances to. It wouldn't have been an outrageous thing. We played really poorly, but like from the moment Nick Pope spills that second one, and it's this is going to be horrible. We scored 2 of their goals for them basically.
I mean, we did get off to a very good start, as you've just alluded to there, with Joe Linton tucking one away with what you would see was a decent move and what we'd probably expect to be looking for from the team. It just looked like we were, finally getting going, and then see the linesman's flag went up there, but Decker.
He was a mile off, like, as well.
Yeah, he was off, but it was bright, you know what I mean? And it was nice to see Joe Linton bursting into the box, and you thought, similar to the Wolves game, I'm going to be positive for a little bit, we started the game really brightly. In that game, we got a goal that was offside there, and you think, here we go type of thing, but my word, it quickly unravelled. Like, I mean, I do want to touch on the starting lineup for a few seconds. So, I'm a bit concerned Eddie Howe hasn't got a clue what his best 11 are. And fullbacks are worrying us a bit now. That I know you can do that because they're there, right? But nobody really, neither of them want left back yet. None of them have made it their position, or Hall or Kelly, in my opinion. Howe clearly believes that because he's swapping and changing them all the time. Mm-hmm. Trippier comes in for Livramento, which I'm happy with because I like Trippier, right? I'm a fan of his, to be fair, and I know I bang the drum a lot, but it just worries us that, I mean, how is Tonali not in that team? Like, and I've just rage there because that was the one thing I will say when I seen the lineup, and everyone's, I've seen loads of people in our group, and it's fine, right? And it's a really strong team that, And it's funny, isn't it, how what an hour and a half can do to people's opinion, isn't it? That there is one of the strongest teams. It's amazing. God, look at all these.
But when you see it,
no, I know, I get it.
There,
but then an hour and a half, anyone wants them.
Just said, it's probably Tonali's maybe the one.
He's got to be in there.
How is he in our strongest team? Like definitely. But yeah,
how is he not ready now? No offense, like Eddie, but how I mate, he's got to be in there. Like that shocks me a lot. I was surprised to see Willock, given he had been injured not so long ago. So I was happy to see him. I was just surprised. But it worries us. There's loads of things worries at the minute with this team. I've sat here, right, for what feels like, honestly, maybe 6 months. Every Monday night I say, it's like a game of basketball and teams flood through it. I keep seeing them 2 lines every single week. And it's the same every week. It was the same again there. We've got no number 6. Bruno can't hold his water. Yeah, I can at the minute. But he's not a holding midfielder. Like. So there's a big problem there. It could be formation related, which we'll come on to, but there's something. Pope had to make 10 saves again. Well, goalkeeper is under far too much pressure, man. Like it's shot after shot after shot, and you're not going to win many games of football if you keep us having to deal with 10 shots a game. Like I'm sorry, you're not. And I know people are pointing the back four. I know we're going to point individual mistakes, which rightly we will. But there's something fundamentally not right with the team, though, isn't there? You know, when the urgency's not there, the intensity's not there, we're not pressing from the front as much. People might disagree because Shea should have scored from doing that. I just don't feel
that was very late on.
It was late on, yeah. Well, of course it was.
And if you centre back, that's pressing against.
It was weird that he was that high up from a goal kick. Yeah.
And now another thing as well is, I said Howe was brave last week for doing this. He made 3 subs. 1 was forced upon, so 2. It's every game now we're making 2 subs at half time, maybe 3. That tells me that the planning Monday to Friday, you set up that team in a certain way. After 45 minutes in the bin, it's not good. Like it's not good.
It just changed personality, changed shape,
change personnel. It's just, and this is not me.
Some would argue that that's good management though as well, to adapt to the game that's playing out in front of you.
That's why there's 2 sides to look at that, isn't it? There's one, I absolutely agree. It's brave. You're making changes. Probably everyone at half time was saying he better make changes at half time. He makes them. But the season when we qualified for the Champions League, we had stability in that lineup. We knew who the back 5 were going to be. The team picked itself to a degree, right? Thankfully, because of injury at that point. And I think the players feed off that as well when the structure and it's the same sort of 11, the same mould. Whereas at the minute, it's 2 getting changed. Yeah, fullbacks are changing every week. We're trying another person in midfield and dropping someone else. And I don't know. I just don't know if that's a whole combination of why we're just not clicking the way that we all hoped we would.
No, I totally get that, and I think when you then look at the personnel that started the game, as we said, particularly in midfield, because I'm in agreement with you. I think a lot of that game was lost in the middle of the park at the weekend, and that's 3 players, Bestie, that have played a lot of football together. I know Willock missed a lot of last season, but even outside of that, that was a core part of our team for a lot of games.
Massive, yeah. Like I say, that season, the Champions League qualification season, and even the second half of Eddie Howe's first season, the takeover season, like that was Willock and Joe Linton on the left hand side was one of the features, you know. Like when Maxi wasn't playing, I forget if he's injured. He obviously hadn't gone by that point. Willock
wasn't good enough.
Joe Linton would dovetail a lot on the left, and you had the triangles on the right. We mentioned the other week, Trippier, Miggy, and Bruno. And yeah, obviously you've got to change. You stand still in football, you go backwards, and all that carry on. Like so, like teams will have been looking at how Newcastle play and says, "Well, that's how we stop him. That's how we stop him. That's what he does." Like Joe Linton is being, I was going to say atrocious. That's maybe a little bit too brutal. But he hasn't had the greatest of starts of the season. He's got man of match against Southampton at home, and if you're starting Willock, Bruno, Joe Linton, and Tonali's the next man in, I think Joe Linton might be the one that drops for him. But then you lose. He's such a unique. Sorry, Deck. No. Joe Linton's such a unique player. He offers so much in the kind of the he's a pair of lungs with legs, basically, and muscles. So you dropping him, you lose veins.
Lots of
just
veins.
A lot of sinew. He's just a fit man, a fit strong man at that. But that's what I did.
I like that.
If you drop him for Tonali, then Tonali gives you so much in other ways. Like he's far better on the ball, for instance. He's got better vision, but he's kind of get up and down as well as Joe Linton can. He's not as big and strong that he's going to knock someone off the ball. But then his decision making. By dropping any one of those three, as I say, I think Joe Linton's probably. I love Joe Willock. I think Joe Willock can give you an awful lot going forward. And again, I think he gives you something that Bruno, Tonali and Joe Linton don't. I think he's more.
Agreed.
He's almost like a winger that can play in the middle of the pitch.
I agree. Yeah.
So it's like it's getting that puzzle right. Who plays the deepest of the three? Does Tonali play deeper because he's more of a kind of spoiler, apparently, than Bruno, who is really, I think, struggling a bit this season in that position, and at times last season as well. It's a puzzler.
I hate to say it, but I think Saturday was probably the worst performance I've seen from Bruno since he's came into the club.
And that's even taking the mistake out of it as well. I think I know that
even before that
sort of the cherry on the cake. Like, but I agree with you there. And Scott made a brilliant point on the match reaction. I'm not saying he's watched it, but he mentioned about the three in midfield, right? And he talked about, and I'm so glad actually, Bessie, you've referenced it, which reminded us about them two linking up, Willock and Joe Linton on the left.
Oh yeah.
Now you're playing them two in midfield. Well, you're playing three of them, so you're playing Bruno as your holding player. And you've then got Willock and Joe Linton playing, where I would say neither of them are particularly used to being on the right-hand side of a three.
Oh, yeah.
I would probably say they're all tending to be on the left. And I would say that a lot of the problems when Smith Rowe hit the bar, there was loads of different other instances where they were really damaging what in that position. Where I think Tonali would play. I think Tonali, I've said this for a while, I'd rather see Tonali as the 6. I'm not saying he is a 6, by the way, but he has Bruno. So I would probably rather see Tonali there and Bruno playing a bit higher. To the right, and then maybe Joe Linton or Willock being the person to the left. But I
what
think,
did you make of the positions Joe Linton and Willock took up? Because I don't think Joe Linton looked very comfortable at all playing on the right side of the forward two in midfield with Joe Willock on the left.
that's what I'm saying, like, because they both really play on the left.
Yeah.
So I think playing them three, one of them's out of position already. You're then technically got a winger playing out of position, technically, if you want to go down that route as well. But I just didn't think they looked very disjointed, and I just felt either of them, if you put Willock over there, he wants to play on the left, and so does Joe Linton wants to play on the left of the three. So
you saw it quite often that Joe Linton was finding himself being pulled over and drawn to the left-hand side of the pitch, and I guess we're particularly seeing that for the first goal with the acres of space that they had through midfield and the way that they kind of, not just for that goal, but on a repeated amount of times, just cut through the middle of the park like there was nobody there. The amount of 1-2s that were played on that pitch against us was unbelievable at the weekend.
It's worrying, as I say, it's worrying, like, because there's not just them are doing it, like Southampton were doing it as well in the fit, and I know we won the game, so everyone thinks it's fine, but like them were ripping through her, like time after time, just ripping through her. And I'm not saying I've got the answer for it, but it has to be addressed. Like, it has to be addressed. Now, if we come on to the goal, like, everybody's obviously annoyed with Shea, and who was the other player? Was it Byrne? I don't know if it was. Like, to be fair, I could be wrong.
For me, God, I'm battering him tonight, but Bruno. He lets Smith Rowe go past, like he tracks back because he's up front and he comes back with him. Smith Rowe then plays the 1-2. He runs straight past Bruno into the box and picks the ball up and puts it away.
No, I mean the first goal.
Yeah. Oh, that's the first one where he then tucks it just into the corner. It's a little 1-2. Smith Rowe.
No.
Oh no, the first goal. It's just a
Yes.
crossover from.
So obviously everyone saying Shea wasn't tight enough, right? For me, it's the cross. Like, I mean, Traore has managed to run down the line. Kelly's about, it's hard to say, about 6 foot away, maybe a bit further. He then has time to be able to go on to what I would actually say was his weaker side, to his left.
Puts it on his left foot.
Still doesn't close the gap. And there's not just Kelly, there's another player there as well. I'm thinking, once you're already quite far away. It is Barnes, yes. So you're already quite far. You're probably further away from used to, right? He's got the ball. He then has time to turn back inside. At that point, I was thinking, right, now one of you are going to really get clipped. No, I didn't bother. They cross it over and then we're in trouble. I did think it was a very good finish on the lad, actually, to be fair.
I cannot really attribute fault to Shea there, because I think as soon as he touches it down, he's turned and he's hit it.
I thought Shea was quite close to him, to be fair. Like,
I mean,
it could be
could he have been right touch tight to him? Possibly. But to your point, is he expecting that ball to come in? And it is very good from Jimenez the way he takes his goal.
I think, the stuff that happens in the middle of the box for that one, I think it's good forward play. If Shea gets too tight, then he can just touch it away from him, and Shea hasn't got time to react. So I don't mind what Shea did there. I agree. I was surprised by Traore, actually, how I've always kind of considered him to be like Obertan, but like bulkier, where he's just all kind of doing shuttles down the side of the pitch, and there's a game going on at the same time. But his product was actually pretty good.
He caused a problem, didn't he? He caused a problem.
I agree with that as well. I think that goal, if you're going to attribute blame, then it's got to be the full-back, or the left-hand side of the pitch at that point. Kelly, I've Barnes as well, I'm hearing.
I feel like there was almost 3 players from memory. Kelly was the first one in shot when it happens. Yeah. But there was more than just Kelly there, though. And I've said this for a long time. I don't know if it's just a modern game more and more, but they didn't stop crosses. Like, they don't. I just don't get it. You stop the cross. Do you know what I mean? It's almost to just go across it. That's not my deal now with someone else's. Like,
I think it's a bit of a, when you play with 3 centre halves, you do invite that a bit more, because you've got when we had in the second half we did. But when you've got 2 centre halves, I think it's more important than to stop the crosses, but that was when that happened. So it's a problem left back in it, because like you said, Deco, you've got Kelly, who hasn't exactly. He looked great against Tottenham, I thought. Hasn't really looked brilliant for the most part. Lewis Hall's, I think, been pretty poor when he's played this season, and
I agree.
He seems to be reluctant to put Dan Burn back at left back, which I think a lot of people are quite happy about, to be honest with you.
I think it's probably personnel's. I think if he had say if Botman was fit, Burn would be there tomorrow. He'd be there tomorrow, but we just haven't got the personnel to maybe do that. But it is concerning that I think Kelly's had you mentioned the Tottenham game, certainly for an hour was good. Hall's had the odd little flash, maybe coming off the bench, because he's better going forward than Kelly. Kelly offers nothing going forward, really. Other than that cross, I'll take that back, actually, because that cross for this, was it, what game? Was it Spurs that? Might have been Spurs when he did
Spurs, it was Harvey Barnes.
That's right, of course, yeah. But not neither of them have been able to cement that place down for them. Like I remember when Target came in. It was almost like, we'll never need another left back again. That's how good he was.
Yeah, I loved him. I thought Target was great that half season.
When he came in that half season,
really good.
He's just picked up them injuries at the wrong time, hasn't he? Really struggled since.
When he's been fit, when he was unlucky when he got fit, it was when, again, Deck, I mentioned earlier, stability. That season where it was the back four was Pope, Trippier, Shea, Botman and Burn, and that was it.
That your back foot Clooney keeper 5 was it,
and that cemented. I remember when. I think that's such an important thing, and there was a game. I forget, was it towards the end of last season or was it this season, where he brought a couple of defenders off and it totally changed the whole back four? I think it was towards the end of last season. But looking back on about stability, when the season finished 5th under Pardew, the back 5 again was, I don't think changed for the first 2 or 3 months. Kroll, Simpson, Colaccini, Williamson, and not Enrique. Left back Santon, I think it was. And that was the back 4 for and we didn't lose the first 10, 11, 12 games, whatever it was, until Man City.
I honestly just can't see how that can help, by changing your fullbacks every game. I just can't see
That's what I was just about to say there, Decker, like that. We're not having a consistent lineup, and we all know that having a run of games helps your confidence, allows the team to gel together, allows people to get used to playing in certain ways, and we're seeing it across the team. To your point, is it a case of we're adjusting tactics based on the game and the team that we're playing up against, or is it, Howe just doesn't know his best team and he's just trying to experiment on the go with who he puts in there? It's probably a bit of both.
I think,
I don't know. You would have thought maybe with the cup game coming up tomorrow, that's now not happening, which we'll get on to as well. That could have been a chance to maybe get a good look at some of the players as well. But it seems to just be a combination of, trying to fit players in, trying to come up with who we think the strongest 11 is based on who we're coming up against and who we want to play. But it just seems to be messing completely with our identity and our way of playing and ultimately the performances that are happening on the pitch.
Well, that's exactly how I feel, and I don't mean this will sound really arsey what I want to say here, but I was thinking this in the car on the way. Like, you've judged this season, right? Tell me what we're good at. Tell us what you think we're good at the minute. Like, you've seen across the field. What do you think is our main thing we're good at? So I'll start with the negatives. We can't keep hold of the ball. We're not very good in possession, right? We're not the pressing team that we were before.
It's completely missing.
We are horrific at corners and set pieces. We are no threat to someone's goal on a corner. I don't know why, but we're not. And you're going to laugh when I say this, and I'm not doing this to wind you up. I'm not. It feels to a degree a little bit like the Maxi days where it was get it out of the left wing, and whoever that individual is, be it Barnes or Gordon, pray he can do a miracle.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Really?
Is what we're good at the minute is just
getting out there.
Getting it out and trying to hit people on the break, whether that be through Barnes or through Gordon. Probably not so much the latter with the way things have panned out this season, but that is there's
nothing
the main highlight, isn't it? Is Barnes' performances.
Well, he scored 2 now or 3?
3 now, I think.
He made 1.
Yeah.
He's basically, I mean, we are about 6th, 7th in the table, and without Harvey Barnes would probably be 16th, 17th.
Yeah.
He's been, and again, that goal.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful.
He's,
and it's funny, you know, I'm going to mention Murphy for that goal as well. He has moments in games, doesn't he?
oh, yeah.
He was terrible after that, like. But
Aye.
it's like the Spurs game when he like a fan coming on, but then had that one moment to slot in. You said,
Yeah.
he came on there. How fast was he there when he just bursting forward? And you're thinking if you could just bottle that up and maybe do that 5-6 times in a game, but it's you get one out of him, and then
Directly sold his soul, and that's what he gets. Is during every game of football, he gets one moment
he seems to get one
of real quality, and then. But I mean, that the Harvey Barnes goal at the weekend. I mean, I've fast forward a little bit, I suppose, but it came after a changed shape, and we looked really. I thought, I know Chris disagreed with this, and that's why he's not here. Because he couldn't bear to be wrong live on camera. But weirdly, I thought the first half was probably the worst we played all season. I thought the second half was probably the best we played all season for a sustained period. Yeah. I thought we really got about them for a long time. It dipped. We obviously got the goal right at the start of the second half. Was it 40 seconds, 50 seconds into
It was a very good start of
It was great. And
the second
and we
half.
controlled the ball better. We looked like a better team. We looked more interested. And then it did kind of felt a little bit flatter. But I don't think the worst parts of the second half were as bad as the best parts of the first half. I thought it was like 2 completely different. I'm not saying I thought they were brilliant, but I thought they were, if they played the way they played in the second, again, if my auntie had, etc., if they played the way they played in the second half for the full 90 minutes, I think we'd have won that game, no problem. I thought it was a pretty decent performance second half, honestly.
I'm kind of with you. I think, I mean, it's hard to say that we would have got any worse after that first half performance, but we definitely did look brighter. We started very well the second half, and I think for long periods of it, we had probably the upper hand, create a lot of chances, as you alluded to earlier. It's just a shame that we were 2-0 down at the time until it took with that and substitutions to make an impact.
Well,
much so as same as last week.
We have to talk about the second goal. Like I know we went on to Barnes, rightfully so, but the second goal, I mean, goalkeepers union like that.
I can't get my head round. I've not seen a great many angles of it. I don't know if he sees it late.
It comes through the legs of is it Shea or Byrne? That's the only thing I can.
Even with that,
I can say it, but
even with that, I think he'll immediately have gone like, that's my fault. And Nick Pope, I love Nick Pope. He's a good keeper. He made the save at Wolves the other week, unbelievable.
He made some good in that game.
Well, even that one, the Iwobi one, I thought it's a standing leg on the thigh. It's been there for it to hit him. We've had keepers in the past fairly recently that wouldn't have been stood in the right spot.
Yeah,
but I suppose that's part of goalkeeping. Like, yeah, so if I got credit where it's due, but that he'll have known straight away. He's dropped a bollock there.
When I seen it, but I thought he'd just fall on the ball,
or even just get your foot on it.
Either foot or just actually physically fall on the ball to then get there anyway, and then just try to. I just don't get what he was trying to do.
It's weird because to have your hand away from your body on the goal line like that, without your body behind it, when you've got the time to do it, he kind of gets both hands on it, doesn't he?
Yeah, kind of.
He serves it. He kind of beckons.
I don't know if he thought it wasn't as hard as he was expecting it to be, or something like that. And
was powerful
because he doesn't because it was a bit of a toe punt, wasn't it? Like with the link up play, where I slated Bruno before about that goal, where I think we should really cut it out much earlier, but it is just a bit of a toe punt towards goal. And does he think, I can just stop this? Because he doesn't seem to parry it away or, as you say, get down there or anything like that. He just kind of sticks his hand out trying to stop it, as if it's like, it's just going to stop dead on my hand here.
It's such an unusual thing.
It's weird.
I don't really. You have to ask him.
Yeah, it's an error, and unfortunately, the game was littered with errors on our behalf.
Yeah.
Uncharacteristic from a few people, but I don't know. But you know, you're 2-0 down, and we've done it before. Don't get us wrong, we've done it before, but it is hard to come back from 2-0 down against Premier League opposition. Like, you know, it is. We've done it before, of course, but
he made changes at half time again.
He did,
as was said, with change the full backs with Hall coming on, Murphy came on, and we went to a bit of a 3-5. Tooting with Hall and Trippier out wide.
Yeah, it actually changed a few times almost on and off the ball. It was a very fluid formation. Like, to be fair, again, you know, we needed to change something, and he did it. And when you get that goal so early in the second half, because we have done this season where we've come from behind or whatever, you know, and we've seemed to dig in. I thought, you know, we're gonna do it here. Well, I'm not saying we're gonna win, sorry, but we're gonna come back in the game now. What I was referencing about what we're good at and stuff like that, right? And I was joking a little bit. Well, I wasn't joking actually, but their team, right? Iwobi's a horrific player, by the way, horrific. But he had some chances. He caused all sorts of bother. Traore caused loads of bother. Jimenez was causing trouble. That's what I mean from our side. You look at the team on paper before the game, you think, oh, you got Willock on there, Bruno's on there, Gordon's on there, Barnes on there, Isak's on there. Goodness me, I didn't know Isak was on the field half the time. I just don't feel like, other than Barnes, as we've mentioned, like, he is the one person that can really create something and do something. The rest just seems so unable to do that. Like, do you know what I mean?
I'm starting to get a little bit concerned about Gordon. For all he didn't have a great amount of pre-season and stuff like that, and he didn't. You know, I think that's still a mitigation for what's happened since. He played really well for England in the break, and then he's come back on Newcastle. And that first half, he just didn't seem interested.
You said, I think you said something, didn't you? Just there before about the second half, you said we looked interested or something. You said something like that.
Like we'll have a bit more intent.
And I thought I meant to come back and say, God, Gordon, the first half, there was a bit where I think Shea or someone played a long ball of him out wide. He went to control. It was a bad touch. It wasn't an easy thing to do either. And the ball was rolling out of play, and he just let it roll out of play. Whereas the old Gordon would have been at that guy's heels, trying to, you know, keep it in or even slide.
Yeah, I remember the one.
He just let it just
run a few moments like that. And it was a criticism I had of him, and I love Anthony Gordon. A criticism I had of him in the Southampton game was a lot of his passes were just off. And again, I thought on Saturday, you're looking at balls that he's just hasn't quite put enough on them, and they're getting cut out nice and easy. Where it's a good ball. There's one, I remember one through to Isak, where if he plays them through, Isak's got a one-on-one probably, but he just drops it a little bit short or a little bit too.
I think that period of play you're talking about, I think there was maybe 4 in the space of 6 passes.
Yeah.
Full game, by the way. Came to Gordon, he lost it 3 or 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
He got caught in possession trying to come inside, got taken off him. I think he did run back and win it then. But what's your thoughts on why that is? Has he got his nose out of joint because Barnes is keep getting his position, or is he just not particularly fit? Is it the Liverpool stuff? Is it just form? Is it just what it is?
It takes me nicely to a question that Ian's asked in the chat there, and he says, do you think there's more to Gordon's form? He's looked great for England, but then he's came back and looks like he doesn't want to be there. His body language was just all over the shop for me. It
wasn't good on Saturday. Like, I don't want to kind of go straight in 2-footed and say I definitely just want to be there and all that, because I'd like to think that's not the case. He's always when he did the thing with Gary Neville last year, and he speaks really highly of the club and how in his time here, how much he, you know, and I think very highly of Gordon as well. I would like to think it's just a bit of form.
If you think of the Wolves game when he turned them 2 players inside out, megged him and hit the post, you know, you think if that goes in, you know, like everyone's saying, it's only a game ago. God, like what a goal that was! Like he's going to be back at his best, and
he had one of those runs on.
It's fine line
in the second half.
He did.
Well.
He had a great run, didn't he? I did. That's right. Yeah. So it's just maybe the body language of some of the things I'm seeing. I'm just not used to seeing it from him, which makes it stand out even more.
It could well be that he's frustrated with himself as well. You know,
maybe
because we've mentioned there that the run of 4 or 5 passes where things didn't go right, the ones that aren't quite. If that one goes in against Wolves the other week, it might be that he's got such high expectations or standards in himself. But if he's not meeting them at the minute, so hello, whoa, Mark, what are you doing? Whoa. It's going to start getting feedback in a sec. Hey, you turn that down. I
did turn it down.
It's because you disconnected your headphones.
There's like 2 besties in the room, eh?
I really want to give him the benefit of the doubt because of how good he was last season.
Absolutely.
I mean, he was wonderful last season. And like you say, if that one goes in against Wolves, he's got 2 goals in 4 games at the start of season 5. It would have been 2 and 4 at the time. That's not a bad return. That's kind of comparable with what he was doing last season. So it might just be that he needs something to come off. You need something, a couple of things to come off for him. It's a confidence thing. Yeah, I think Gordon. I love Anthony Gordon. I think he's been a snip. Given what we paid for him and what he's done for us since in that season and a half that we had him, I think, oh God, he just needs a bit of a good run of good form. Maybe, I mean, we've got another international break coming up in a week or two. After Wimbledon, is it? Or have we got another game?
Got Man City on at the weekend.
Then Wimbledon.
That'll be lovely, that one.
Yeah. Obviously, because it got moved from tomorrow night.
Yeah, and then maybe that's the time where I don't know, he'd be with England.
Then after that, it's Everton away.
October the 5th, of course, I was going to go, but I'm not now.
It just concerns us that with this, we've got the start we've got, and points wise, it's pretty tremendous in a way, really. I mean, I appreciate you've lost on Saturday, but as I said from the very start, is that we could have been top of the league technically, which is tremendous to say that, but I just feel like, well, look, I'd run out because technically, and I'm going to be kind here, we could have drew every other of them games that we've won so far. We easily could have drawn them, perhaps even lost, but I'm going to be kind and say drawn. It could have looked so different, and you would have no qualms. You wouldn't come away and go, well, we're really unlucky in that game. We played really well. Yeah. Like, you wouldn't, would you?
It's felt like the result on Saturday, it's been coming for a while. In a game that there's not I mentioned earlier, if the Joe Linton one wasn't offside, if Shea squares it to Isaac or just puts it in the back of the net, then you're looking at it, you're going up. The things that went wrong, if they hadn't gone wrong in that game against Fulham, I think you can look and go like, well, yeah, that's been a really good start of the season.
It's true. We did have a lot of good chances in the second half, but as we've said, Pope pulled off a number of good saves as well, and they had more chances than they took in the first half as well. Where it could have been an absolute boatful.
We had more of the ball, but they had more shots. Am I right in thinking they had 20 odd shots?
What, sorry, them?
Yeah,
them did. I think it was 23 or 4, something like that. I think it was.
We are letting through what you said earlier, Jack. We're letting teams through an awful lot and very easily. We're getting cut through time and time again. You see teams break and you think, oh God, this is going to be.
And I really feel, I don't know, that's a hard one, isn't it? I don't feel that we're as high as a team as what we used to be right now. You've also got to think, well, back four isn't the quickest. And I used to say that in the Champions League qualifying season, but, Shea, Burn, Trippier's not the quickest of he players, to be fair. I don't feel we're as high up, but I'm not blaming the defence necessarily, because what I'm meaning by when I'm watching more players, teams just seem to flood through it and they're just at our back four before we even know anything about it. One pass and they're just at Shea and they're at Burn. It must be difficult to deal with that all the time. That's where the problem, that's where formation changes or personnel changes have to happen. We've got to tighten up in the midfield somehow. Now that could be, I think, a change of formation and maybe playing 2 holders.
Yeah, I like that.
And then you could play Tonali and Bruno.
At times we saw that at the weekend with Joe Linton and Bruno sat that little bit deeper.
Well, true. I don't know. You could play 4-2 and then maybe have your Willock as the third man, but having more license to push forward. Because for all I'm saying, we're flooding through the midfield, which is a bad thing. What's going on with Isak? Now, you could turn around and say he's not fully fit because he has been injured and stuff. But my God, we are creating nothing for that lad, nothing. Yeah. Now, is that because, going back to my point about all I think we do is get the ball out left and hope for the best, with him being an inside forward, inverted winger, I'm not saying Isak wants crosses either, but it's very rare do I see Barnes.
He wants the ball into his feet or in behind.
Yeah, so I'll go to Haaland's goal yesterday against Arsenal. The way that, in between the lines, give us it.
Yeah.
But I can't recall us ever really doing that for Isak. Really, if I'm honest, it tends to be Barnes will cut inside or Gordon, and they're probably going for themselves really to have a shot. Mm-hmm. I don't really see us create much for Isak. Now I know people are probably in the comments going, well, he's not doing this, he's not running around, he's whatever. But I don't think we're creating anything for Isak at all. But I will also be on the fence if he doesn't look right. Is he coming deep and showing for the ball? Is he getting it deep and turning and running to players? Maybe he's not right, but
is that not why you think Willock came into the midfield, just to try and close that gap a little bit between Isak and the rest of the midfield bestie?
Could well be, yeah. I mean, Willock is, if you play him as a central midfielder, you play him more advanced, isn't he? He's not number 6, as they say now. We're looking at someone to protect the back four a bit more. He's the one that you'd expect to be, maybe he's not number 10, but near enough to that point, no further up the pitch, and he's showing he can do it. When Declan mentioned there, you've got Isak doesn't tend to get stuff in the box, but I remember the season Willock scored all those goals. How many of them were down to him arriving late and getting the cut back? and we scored a few goals from a spell last season. Ironically, was one of them. No, it wasn't Fulham. Where am I thinking? Where we did it? Burnley, where we re-hammered Burnley, and a few of those. Well, getting the byline, cut it back, and midfielders are coming out with whoever's coming out with and getting the goal. So I think Joe Willock certainly could be that. I mean, is he still getting up to match fitness? He had a long time out last season, and then he's just come back from an injury this season already. We're missing Callum Wilson. Is Wilson offers something that Isaac doesn't? He's more physical. He's going to hold the ball up a bit more, maybe. Bring someone like Willock into the game a bit more. Is that what we need for that to work a bit better?
I think the bad news with that one, I think it's after the international break now for Wilson, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is like, God, it's even further away down the line,
It's back end of October, isn't it?
I'm kind of just brainstorming and throwing ideas out here. I might not be making much sense, but it's just, it worries us that would midfield or just literally just flooding through. But also on the flip side, I don't see the midfield creating anything either. To be fair, what I would say in the second half, maybe the change of formation, Bruno, even though he played poorly, he was driving forward a bit more. He had a shot which I thought he's a bit unlucky with. He was on the edge of the box rather than pedestrianary picking up the ball from the back four. Sometimes I just don't feel he's involved in games as much as what he was. Maybe that's the opposition also. I noticed a few times Shea got the ball and was bringing it out, and he was looking for Bruno, but that two on him.
Yeah.
And that's what, remember the championship, some teams used to do that on Shelby. I remember back in the day where it was like, we'll stop Newcastle. Stop him from getting the ball. And I found Fulham did that really well on Saturday.
I think if Tonali starts, you get around that problem a bit, because if you've got two on Bruno, then you're leaving someone else free, and it probably is going to be. So I think if you've got someone with more ball playing quality, which we know that Joe Linton hasn't really got, and Joe Willock hasn't got as much as Sandro has, I think that's one way around that. But Eddie's got to earn his money, I need the next few weeks, because it's been results wise a good start of the season, not performance wise. He needs to marry the two up, because we've got a bit of a tough run coming up.
Well, this City one's, of course, that's a terrible game, no matter how good your form is. Now, I think though, in terms of how the game will go about, it might actually suit her to a degree, because as I've banged on about how bad we are, can't keep the ball, we can't do this. Really, we'll just be sitting in and trying to hit them on the break.
Yeah.
And I think that might be all right for us in terms of sitting in your Gordons, your Barnes, Murphy, if he played, for example, with their pace, might be able to hurt
Arsenal tried to do that yesterday.
2-2-2.
Well, we're not going that game, but they did amazing to turn that around. I thought from 1-0.
Absolutely good.
Wasted a lot of time, mate. Wasted a lot of time.
Dog arts.
Yeah, it was very good. It was good.
Mikel said I wouldn't do that.
No, not at all. But Blue Rhythm Boy asks us a question, given the chat that we're having around the midfield.
Mm-hmm.
What should our midfield three be, given that we all seem to be Tonali advocates? Because we've got to remember, Longstaff was missing at the weekend as well.
Mm-hmm.
Who's been a pretty much an ever-present forward.
First game of Ross this season's first game he's missed. Joe made that point yesterday in the group, right?
Yeah.
Paul Patterson singing his Longstaff's praises in the comments as well, questioning his non-involvement.
Is it sometimes a case though when a player's not there? No. I'm not going to say that. No.
Well, we always said that for Shelby, didn't we? That was when he's not playing.
Well, we all know Decker's thoughts on Longstaff.
Yeah. Good then.
I don't know. I think I just feel Tonali surely is up to speed now to go in international duty and play very well. May I add as well? I think he's ready to start, and of course you're never going to drop Bruno. You're just not. But I tell you what, if Bruno played like Longstaff, sorry, if Longstaff played like Bruno, everyone wouldn't want him in the team. I'm telling you now, right? But we'll forgive that and we'll move on. But I think Bruno, Tonali, and I'd probably take Joe Linton out of the team. But having said that, I don't know if I'd do it against Man City, given the opposition. I do think we need energy, lungs, someone that's very physical. I think we'll need that in that particular game. But thinking further afield, and I hate to say that because I absolutely love Joe Linton as well, but probably I would love to see Willock because he'll hopefully drive the ball forward, link up with Isak, and I think Tonali and Bruno, I think, that's probably what I would go for.
Bestie?
Tough one, isn't it? Because like you say, Decker, you want someone who's physically and who's going to break the game up a little bit against them. The problem they've got is, I know Rodri's out for the season now by the looks of things, but they can move the ball around so well that you struggle to cross them at times. Just hope for the best. I wouldn't be against having two sitting in front, play two kind of defensive, then play 3 ahead, so that's kind of what it would be, isn't it? I mean, but then you're looking at
It's like 4-2-3-1.
yeah, I like that. But then you're looking at playing probably Tonali, Bruno, the deeper 2, Willock behind is the one in the middle of the 3. Oh, that could work. Yeah.
That's right.
Maybe a little bit of attacking. Like I think one might see him go 5 at the back. I think you might get 3 centre halves, a couple of wing backs, and maybe someone in the middle there just to try and like tighten things in the back, get things a bit narrow so they've got to play the ball in, because obviously Haaland's awful in the air. It's a tough one. How do you play Man City? There's better men than me have tried and come way short, like, and Steve Bruce has tried as well.
I thought you said better than you, basically.
So yeah, I think it's a really, really difficult one. I wish Haaland had been sent off or chucking the ball off Gabriel or had some sort of just a 90-minute ban would be nice.
I thought you might have got some when they were investigating it.
Yeah.
I thought if you add it all up together, the push on Partey, holding the ball off his head, shooting the ball at everybody else, I just thought something might come of it.
I think it's about time someone give Partey a bit of a push, because I don't like him very much.
I can understand.
He's not a nice man.
I can understand why.
Haaland could do.
I'm not going to go Mumford and Sons and say why he's not a nice man.
I hope Burn whacks him over the Gallowgate on Saturday. Like
Who's that?
Holland. I hate him.
I like him.
Hate him.
I really like him. Is that because he upset Pep?
No, I just think he's a dick. Like,
I did think
he's
that
an
was
absolute dick.
I thought it was
a
great,
bit out of order, like the way he behaved at the end.
I thought it was brilliant.
No, he was going on with
more of
with that in his
The young kid shooting a ball at the young kid for now.
But
I didn't say
And then
that.
you shooting a ball at Jesus. All Jesus says, "Oh, like relax, man," and he's gone off it with him. Dick, man, he's a dick.
I like him, mate. Like, I like
That's
him.
why. That's fine.
I
You
do.
can, yeah.
Maybe just because he was doing it with Arsenal players.
So what's your 3 then, Bestie?
What's my 3? Oh man, Bruno. I agree with Decker. I think Tonali's got to start playing football soon. I don't think he will though. I don't think he'll. I don't think Man City will be the game that he brings him back, like to start.
I think it could be like.
I hope so, because I think I've got.
I said that for the last 2 games as well. I fully.
But it's been a month. It was late August, the Forest game in the cup, where did he start that one? Yeah, he did play the first half, didn't he? First hour even. Surely,
He's got to play.
I think you get Tonali, Bruno, and Willock. They are.
Still the same as me.
Yeah, I think that's what you said, wasn't it? I love Joe, and it feels really, because we spent like 6 months of last season saying, God, I can't wait till Joe gets back, and now he's back. We've got his shiny.
So I'm going for the City game. I'm going Bruno, Tonali, Joe Linton. That's my 3. Like,
And I think I would for that. I think I'll reiterate what I said. I said that as well for the City game, but then moving on.
I wouldn't have said that was a bad choice, to be honest with you. Yeah, I think that probably is what you do, actually. I worry about Joe's ball retention.
It's as Decker's saying, for me, it's just having that. Well, it's quite ironic given the last few performances, but it's having that strength in the middle of the park, somebody to put a boot in, particularly with them missing Rodri as well. He was a big difference. I think Joe Linton's shown time and time again he can do that type of role, albeit nothing anywhere near the standards of Rodri, just to be clear. But
he'll run for 90 minutes as well, and then he'll get booked on about 35, and then
I always put him on for a call.
yeah.
But it just goes to show you that, given there's a whole host of different comments in the chat there, as well as that, the problem that we've got is we've got so many good midfield players, and it's which are the 3 that are going to click and play well together. And
That's the
as
problem.
we say, with the opposition that we're coming up against, it's probably going to be a bit of a case for one week, somebody else the other.
I don't expect we're going to have a great deal of ball on Saturday. So when Sunday, isn't it?
Saturday.
So when we do get it, I
Kick
think
off like
we've
lunchtime, innit?
is it?
After that, yeah.
So when we do get it, we've got to like make the most of having the ball. Which is why, and if we're breaking as well, that's why I kind of like Willock. I think he's capable of kind of getting the foot in the ball and carrying it 20, 30 yards with a pitch.
Which is important, I feel, when you're under pressure. Under pressure, it's almost like the Jonas days where like would be absolutely under it and just give it to Jonas and he just run.
Yeah.
And we kind of need that, I think, and I agree with why Willock would be a good choice. And that's why, do you know what it is? He might go on with, surely he won't. He's not going to go with Bruno, Willock and Joe Linton again. But it's funny because the other thing I would say is, and I've banged on about this 45 minutes ago, is being settled, time, if you pick your 3, they're the 3 you've got to stay with, right? I think. So if Tonali comes in on Saturday and doesn't have a great game, do you drop him next week? Because that's what I feel like it's like. I just feel like you haven't played very well for a half, so you're off. And I know someone in the pub will be going, I get them off. That's normally the attitude. I get them all off. You know what I mean? I know that. But you can't. You can't. You've got to believe, if that's what you believe is your best three or your best back four, your best front three, that's what you've got to stay with then.
And it is a case of sometimes that your best players don't equal your best team.
Often the time, one of the big criticisms of England at the summer at the European Championships was that Foden played when he was he player of the year last season? But he just wasn't played where he should be playing, or he wasn't played with players that get the most out of him. So I agree, I think we've seen that time and time again where the players who are maybe less celebrated have done a better job than ones. I suppose when Debussy came in, that'd be an example who a big song and dance made about him, and it never really worked, did it? Danny Simpson on the right hand side.
He had a great song though.
I can't remember that.
Darts theme tune.
No, hang on, that's not.
No, that's Big Bag.
Oh yeah, it's Big Bag.
I Poltergeist is back.
Chase the Sun.
Debussy.
That's not a great song.
Oh, it was great.
That's a shite song.
Nah, it was brilliant.
It was a good song, but it's not a good chant. I had a real problem with chant during that period. Ain't nobody like John Joe Shelby. It's
Classic.
It's shite.
Classic.
It's
Absolutely
rubbish.
brilliant.
It's a great song.
class.
He was a good
brilliant.
player, but it's literally just changing 2 words of a song to John Joe Shelby instead of Loves Me Better. Like, well, no, that's a shit song. What was it called? Carl Darlow always.
Get in the comments now. Is Bestie right or wrong? He's 100% wrong.
There's no point in it. Carl Darlow. It's shit. It's just it's a song. It doesn't reflect Carl Darlow's like ability or lack thereof in a song. It's just putting Carl Darlow in a song.
If you would like to join the Always Smiling Faces podcast and replace Bestie, please send in your applications with your favourite chants.
And you're upset because I don't like the Carl Darlow song. Marino's one was good.
What was that one again?
It was Lola by the Kings. No, it was
With Janola's originally.
yeah. It was,
Yes, that's right. Yes. Yeah.
I also the Bravka should have one. Is Son of Me Father by Chicory Tip. You know the song, Mark knows it. Mark bought it.
You just made various noises there. That wasn't even a proper sentence.
There'll be someone out there now going like, "Oh, Chicory Tip! Of course it's a good
Chicory Tip. You can get some cream for that.
Bravka. I always think it fits.
I've got a controversial question for you lads.
Oh, I like controversial stuff.
Has the captaincy ruined Bruno Guimarães?
Who?
Bruno Guimarães.
Just call him Bruno. Man.
Well, I still think it's early days. But well, you do it with your eyes, and I know some people will probably say yes because he hasn't been playing well, has he? But I'm going to say it's early days to say that. I'm going to say it's early.
He hasn't played up to his normal standards this season, I don't think. But I don't think this correlation doesn't necessarily imply causation. And I think that's a case in point here where I don't think the captaincy's the reason that he hasn't played very well. Although it has coincided with probably his leanest period in a Newcastle shirt. But we'll see. I hope not. I saw the point made at the weekend about we seem to lack leaders on the pitch now. Which when Bruno, Trippier, Dan Burn and Pope have all started, all of whom are, I don't know if Pope is actually a dressing room leader, but still, you know, there's blokes on there who can do that job and who can kind of have that influence. But no, I don't think it's fair to say that yet.
Do you, Mark?
Mark answered that question about 5 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think I'm of the case of that. He's maybe concentrating more on the armband and kind of around him maybe than just getting on with his game. And we know he's always been a little bit guilty of, you know, trying to drag the team through performances by himself and stuff like that. We've seen that a number of times. I just thought at the weekend, although his intentions are well of doing it, of trying to drag the team forward and do it, but it just leads to him hanging onto the ball for a very long time. The amount of times he got caught in possession, robbed quickly.
That happened last season as well, mate.
Yeah,
I don't think that's
and I think just, as I say, we know that he does that, but given, I don't know if it's like that added pressure of the armband is just, you know, not allowing him in. And I know, you know, the team has been pretty poor for the majority of the season. You know, in spells, if not for most of it. But I don't know how I mean, you lads know anyway, as do the people that are listening and watching, that I just wasn't sure about the whole appointment as captain. You know, whether it was done just to keep him at the club and appease him, whether it's genuinely done because they think it's, you know, he's going to be in the team and be there as a leader throughout it. It just, I don't know, it just seems to, it could be coincidence, as you say, and just coincided with it, but it just doesn't seem to be sitting right with his performances at the minute, and him just taking that personal responsibility within the team rather than just getting on and playing his own game.
Possibly,
it possibly is. I also, what Bessie's saying about coincidence, that he's playing poorly, he's got the armband which he didn't have before. I mean, your theory of what you've said there, like, look, that third goal is just, I mean, come on, like, again, trying to hold on to it too long than he should, tries to play a Hollywood past that. I don't even think he's even got the power to even reach the player he's wanting to reach. Like, he hasn't got that type of, it's not like a Trent, like, you know, a Trent when he plays across the field, but I don't think Bruno has that power to be able to, I mean, that would be a hell of a pass to get that from where he was to who he was wanting to get. In every single, whatever level you've played at, you'd never pass the ball across your face of your goal. Like, I had Dan Burn standing there. Burn. Burn had done very well actually to position himself to go, I'm right against the byline, like, but I'll have it.
On. They can go towards Pope from there and go towards your full back. Exactly, it was an awful decision, that. It was. And I think that's something that I remember his debut, was it Arsenal? No, it wasn't Arsenal. One of his earlier games where he had the ball on actually pretty much where Dan Burn was, and he kind of dribbled his way out of trouble and he got away with it. And I remember at the time thinking that only a look's only going to hold out for so long doing that. Yep. And he has been caught in the middle of the pitch. He gets caught so often on the ball. He's wonderful, don't get us wrong. He's an excellent player. And a lot of times that it works, you know. He gives the ball, he's passing is excellent, but that was a shocker. That was really was. It was, in St. Decker, one of the first things you get taught as a kid is you don't play the ball back across your own box like that. And he's effectively taking the corner for them there.
Yeah.
He's got a pass on. You could say he could play the ball straight at Pope, and Pope could play it long, or Pope's got more of the pitch to look at. It's just a terrible, terrible decision. But he's held his hands up. Like he said, like, that was it. I shouldn't have done that.
I mean, there's not much else he could have done, in fairness, is he would then admits to the mistake.
They've seen it before. Players put their head in the ground and kind of don't.
You watched straight with the fans saying, like, you know, fair enough. And to be fair, right, the game, you know, it was definitely dead at that point. But I think, you know, if you think of Bruno, if you think of when he was really on it, you know, and I'm going to say this every week now, Trippier, Bruno and Miggy, you know, that combination. Yeah. Bruno I was watching some highlights the other day, right, and he was picking that ball up so much higher up on the field. I mean, literally night and day from where he picks it up now.
Yeah.
And he was slotting passes in, really, really lush, intelligent passes for the likes of Wilson to go into. He's had to go into. I'm telling you, in order for us to be better and create more, he has to be higher up the field. I think he's honestly wasted. I'm not saying he can't come and collect the ball off the back four. Of course he can, but I need to see him higher up the field. And again, I was going back to these highlights of that Champions League, that qualification run. Him and Miggy, of course, had all these lovely 1-2s, but it wasn't just that. He was picking the ball up really high up the field and was looking to try and unlock a defence, get their defenders turned round. I just think it just seems so easy to defend against as a team, other than the left hand side. I
do think teams are on the front foot a lot more against us now, whereas we were always the team that used to press high and you're seeing more and more. I mean, look at Bournemouth the other week. They absolutely mullered us with just pressing from the very front. We've seen it with, obviously, the energy that Fulham showed when then midfield kind of overflowing us and really pushing on. That I do think that's contributing to Bruno having to drop deeper into there, but then he's got to use the time and space when he does have it more effectively, and that's where we need the help, Bestie, of the rest of the people in midfield in and around him. That just doesn't seem to be happening at the minute.
Yeah, he's got to have options available, you know. I mean, that one at the weekend in the corner of the pitch, there's only so much you can do when there's a player there. I think Byrne was the only ball he could have played, really, I think feasibly. But yeah, I mean, it's not just against us that teams are doing it. You're seeing it more and more as a theme in football, that teams are pressing higher, teams are fitter. And it's something that I think we've always really struggled to play against. For all it was our identity, so it was said at the time. I think even then, when teams pressed, well, we give the ball away within our our third of the pitch, our half of the pitch really, really regularly. And yeah, teams notice stuff like that. You know, managers will go, "Oh, that's how you get at Newcastle." And yeah, I think we do get a lot more out of Bruno when he plays further forward. Like you said, I mean, you look at his goal involvements and stuff. That first half season, in the season before, he felt like he scored an awful lot more goals, or he made a lot. Where now he's a bit deeper, and he's kind of he's the Shelby's kind of a pretty good. He's a better player than John Joe Shelby. I like Shelby, but Bruno's a far better player. But he is kind of doing that thing where he picks the ball up deep and kind of he'll play it off to a fullback, or he'll play it off to two Longstaff, or try and find Gordon or whoever's on the right hand side, Miggy or Murphy, and we're not getting the most out of him. But the problem is, I don't think we'll have a player at the club who is true
number 6.
N'Golo Kante is probably the best example you can think of off the top of your head. Like, you know, or we don't have that at the club. And it's kind of becoming more apparent that that's a deficiency that we have. For all, we've got the centre midfield: Joe Linton, Willock, Bruno, Tonali, Longstaff, Lewis Miley when he comes back. Technically, Jeff Hendrick and Isaac Hayden as well. We haven't got Hayden's probably the only one I would say who's a natural who can play that position, but he's not going to as yet.
And that's where it's frustrating, isn't it? Recruitment wise, and I'm not going to go down this road; it's too late. But it is annoying where I think every single person's known we need a number 6.
Yeah,
we said that before. Even when Bruno was playing there, we used to sit and go, "Well, we'll get a number 6 and Bruno will move further forward the pitch because that's where I want him to be." And we've just sat with him being a number 6 for forever.
Yeah, the thing is, we need number 6, a left back, a right winger, and a striker.
Yeah, well,
we need half. And it sounds like such a dramatic thing to say when we could very, very feasibly be sitting top of the Premier League at the minute. But you look at the team and think, "Wow, we're missing there. We're not quite where we should be there." I mean, starting Barnes and Gordon, we've been crying out for that, and it didn't work at all in the first half, did it?
It isn't working really, if I'm honest with you. It's worked in scenarios at times.
It's harsh to say it hasn't worked because 50% of that is working.
Well, in Barnes, I get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying, but I just feel, I think what's quite weird, and I may be wrong here, it's just how I feel, is that when we start with Gordon left and Barnes right, Barnes not really involved at all, really. Gordon's fluffing around, maybe getting annoyed or whatever. And then when we swap them, Barnes is literally electric, right? Gordon's maybe going through the middle a little bit sometimes as well. I still find that, like, I don't feel the press is as good. Like when Miggy was on the right-hand side, and we'll probably everyone will kick off here, but when Miggy was on the right-hand side, I found we're pressed so much better from the front.
Yeah, he was brilliant at that.
He almost started it off, and then you'd find Gordon would then be... I still think we'll lose if we're not having Elmer on that side of the field. Like, truthfully, I do. And I appreciate people will criticise his final ball and all the rest of it, but I'm talking more of the intensity side of things. That I do feel you miss that. And if Barnes is over that side, it's no offence to Barnes, he's just not as intense as what Miggy was, right?
He doesn't put the distance in. Miggy, I think we said last season, or it might be early this season, I forget now, but we said that Miggy, when he goes, or when he's not in the first team anymore, you'd miss him. And he's limited, don't get us wrong, and I agree with you, Decker. His final ball won't be terrible, his finishing will be awful, his confidence. There's obviously the right foot thing. There's myriad reasons that you don't want Miggy to be here. I mean, no. Not don't want him to be here. You don't want him to be kind of your first choice. You hang your hat on Miggy being the difference maker in the first team. But the graft that he puts in, any team's going to miss that. It doesn't make him irreplaceable by any stretch of the imagination. But, like you say, Harvey Barnes isn't that kind of... No. I think Gordon is a bit more, where he's got that kind of, he'll put the miles and miles and miles away. Barnes is more kind of, he's really effective in the final third.
Unbelievable.
But he's not like, he's not going to bust his gut to kind of help your fullback out, which is what Miggy does.
Yeah. Even when Miggy was terrible in front of goal, couldn't assist, he would be chasing everybody's tail. You know what I mean? That's just what he was. But that, you know, I'm just hypothetically talking about all that there. But Barnes, my other thing about Barnes is we can't rely on him to keep doing what he's doing. Like, he kind of keeps scoring goals like he's scoring.
But he can if he
maybe
wants.
He can.
He's
he can for me.
Yeah,
keep doing it, please, Harvey.
Yeah. I just feel you can't. Like, you can't. He'd be away him. He'd be Real Madrid or something. You cannot keep scoring them type of goals all the time. Like,
he was unlucky not to get a second one at the weekend as well.
Yeah. He's been excellent this season, hasn't he?
Oh, he has. Real.
Isn't it weird how we talk?
I don't know why we signed them.
It's just going to say that. It was only a few weeks ago.
Remember them people that said that?
Well, I'll take it because I wanted a right winger.
But then
I'll take it back.
All of a sudden, he looks like at the minute he's the bloke in form.
Yeah, he's been very good. And as as we started off with, he's probably been the highlight of the team so far.
I don't think there's any probably about it. It's been great. I was going to say, like, when he went through on Saturday, you expect he's going to score, but you might not expect that with other players. I'm not going to say it because I think Gordon, you would expect to score that as well. But you just expect the West Ham game last season when he goes through, you think, I'm scoring this. One of them will keep no problem.
It was an incredible finish, that one. Yes.
Yeah.
Saturday, sorry.
That was a really good finish.
So calm, just so right in the corner.
He's the quality. He's a really, really good player. Like, and people have always said it's his movement. He's not the kind of bloke who's going to kind of get the ball at his feet and kind of. Maxie's getting some mentions this week, isn't he? What Maxie would do, he'd run at the. I mean,
and that's more what Gordon does.
Yeah, mitigation. That when Maxie would do that, the defenders run the halfway line normally, so it was easier to get through the back of them. Maybe
and that link-up play is why I thought having Barnes right side might work better than having Gordon there, because he can then maybe do some of those triangles that we've talked about. Play with, Trippier coming outside of him, or Livramento, whoever, is starting it right back. Yeah. Come back into your midfield by doing it because or hit the byline because he's right-footed and whip a crossing, because we know he can put a great ball in. He doesn't always have to come in and, have the shot. I think
a problem that we might have is, we've mentioned like the midfielders that we'll have, who kind of Joe Linton, Joe Willock and Bruno and Sandro are all very different players. Like Harvey Barnes and Gordon are very different wingers. Trippier and Tino are both right backs, both very different how they play. Say Kelly and Byrne, maybe similar, Kelly and Hall. And when you're replacing a player in the first team, it's not like there's not really many like for likes. Ironically, I would say probably Miggy and Murphy's the closest that we'll have. Even Isaac and Wilson are very. There's not when you make a change. If we're playing Gordon, if Gordon comes off, Harvey Barnes comes on, or vice versa, the defender's going to go, well, I know that's the change what I do now. Where we haven't got like. If it was Gordon going off and I'm going to say Maxi again, if Gordon going off and Maxi coming on, the defender's going, oh Christ, I've got another half an hour of this.
yeah.
We haven't got that. It's weird that we've got it, and I kind of it can be a positive thing that I've said before. If Gordon goes off and Barnes comes on, the defender's got to change how he plays, because Barnes isn't going to run like how Gordon does, but he'll get the ball away to, let's say, Joe Linton, Joe Willock, and be gone down the line, and you just, that's his way now, because his movement's that good, he's that intelligent. But yeah, like when you change a team and Trippier doesn't play, but Livramento does, it changes how the whole team operates almost, because how important Trippier is. Well, Livramento is brilliant. Livramento is the kind of bloke he doesn't pass as much. Gets the ball at his feet, he'll run a little bit, where Trippier just hasn't got the legs. And that's.
He looks to get into the box more, Tino, than Trippier ever does as well. Trippier's always looking for the cross as opposed to thinking I can get there myself.
Yeah, I agree with that. In terms of, because I know it's getting there, so would you, in that game it was Gordon who started left wing, clearly. So if it's City, would you start Barnes there, or is that then pushing Gordon's nose out even further by saying, I actually want you to start out in position?
Given that he's going to be up against Kyle Walker, it's got to be Gordon. Because
legs.
Yeah, the legs. And I mean, Walker, last season, the game at Main Road, what's called the had Walker and who was on the right hand side, was it Foden? And they had Gordon's life. Gordon should have been sent off actually there last season, if you remember. But Gordon, they pressed him. It was Gordon and Byrne. This time round, I think you've got to have Gordon again, because Kyle Walker's on his bike. Harvey Barnes either isn't going to go with him, or he'll go with him and not come back.
True.
I mean, that's maybe a little bit
and I remember
harsh to Harvey Barnes. But I think you've got to start with Gordon on that side.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have been going for just over an hour, but I think Gary sums up where we are in this season so far very, very nicely. 6th place, 1 point behind Arsenal. We'd have taken that this early in the season, considering how poor we've played.
Absolutely.
And he's, you kind of, and we all know, performances aside, they haven't been the greatest. But when you just sit back and look at that, I think we've got to be pleased with where we are, with the point tally that we've got, and look to improve on those performances and move forward. And
because in isolation, it's great. We're through in the cup as well.
If you remove context,
If you remove, it's just obviously we're forecasting and thinking, after 10 games you might have lost another 4. But football's not.
Well, yeah, we had the fixture computer was generous for the start of the season. I think a lot of people said
not so generous in the coming games.
Well, that's how it works.
That probably means like you seen the start was
first
decent.
6. We played 5 games now, or 6.
5.
It's 5, isn't it? So the first 5 games we've played. The 2 teams we've beaten are in the bottom 3, Southampton and that other team that we've beaten.
Wolves,
Wolves are bottom. Yeah. Tottenham are 10th. So there's the 3 teams that we've beaten. I mean, Tottenham aren't going to finish 10th. They'll finish higher than that. But Bournemouth are in the bottom half of the with them. Fulham are round, I think they're 8th now. So there's the 5 games. We've only played teams beneath in the table.
We shouldn't have getting out of Bournemouth for me.
No, we shouldn't. It was terrible. But Harvey Barnes and Gordon, ironically, thinking up really well.
Yeah,
that was a great ball by Barnes. So it's been a great. I mean, it's been a great start. Results-wise, it's been a great start. We're through the cup. I mean,
what counts? It's been good. Points on the board.
Yeah,
what's counted? It's been
It's
good.
very much like the summer again, isn't it, with England? Just rolled on to Newcastle.
Sort of. I would rather have points on the board and playing badly than be playing brilliantly.
Exactly.
And or have points on the board with Man City away coming up, with Everton away coming up, with Brighton we've got coming up soon as well. I think we've got the next 5 or 6 games are pretty, in the league at least, are pretty micey. Memory serves. What other Mark? You've got a laptop there. How the next 5 6 games are?
So we've got City on Saturday. Then we've got the rescheduled cup game
Home
against
Wimbledon.
AFC Wimbledon at
AFC Wimbledon. Insistence.
We've then got Everton away the following Saturday.
Yep. Is that the break after that?
We've then got the break.
Yeah.
And then we are back on the 19th of October against Brighton and Hove Albion.
That's at home, isn't it?
It's at home.
Oh, it's my
and
wedding
then away to Chelsea.
See, that's Chelsea going well as well. It's
not easy.
And then we hit Arsenal.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
But we've got a point on the board already where, I mean, we need to improve, but we've put ourselves in a position where we could improve and get a couple of results in. It doesn't look too bad getting towards Christmas.
Let's hope. So let's dive into some questions. As ever, if you have got any while you're watching, drop them in. We've had quite a few sent in as we've been going. So as ever, we start off with Josh, who has sent us a donation, as he likes to do on a weekly basis. Thank you, Josh. It is very much appreciated.
Very generous.
He's actually sent us 2 in, but I'll give you the first one is it fair to compare Eddie Howe to Roberto Martinez? Steady on. While he was at Everton. So he had a class first season. Defensively, he was found out in the second season and then fell off a cliff in the third season. Is that a fair comparison?
I'd say no.
I'm not so sure.
I get what he's saying, but
I don't think the highs under Martinez at Everton, forgive us, I can't remember exactly. Did they finish in the top, European spots at all? Or?
No, I don't think.
Honestly, I'm not being facetious. I don't know. I think
they finished high up the league. Did they get to a cup final, I want to potentially say?
I got the FA Cup in 2009, but I think Moyes was still in charge then. I mean, Moyes got him in the Champions League as well, didn't he? About 20 years ago. But I don't think. I don't think it is fair at the minute. No, maybe in 6 months' time it'll be an accurate one. But I think the highs that we've had under Howe, to my, off the top of my head, far outstrip.
It eclipse them, I would say. Yeah. Absolutely,
yeah. Callum Lewis sends us a question as well. I like this question because we haven't spoken about this. Are you lads looking forward to seeing the new retro range that's coming out on Friday? And if so, what are you after? Oh, I was buzzing when I saw that announcement at 5 o'clock today.
What's your favourite piece that you've seen?
Hoodie. The hoodie is absolute sex.
Hoodie is lush.
Beautiful.
Is that me and you next Monday night, the two big boys?
100%. They better have a fat lad size in that club shot, I tell you.
All of it. It all looks lush. Probably the hoodie for me as well, actually. I have gone off the top slightly, but I think I'll change my mind when I see it.
Oh, I still...
The
only thing I wasn't keen on, I literally said when it came out, I sat on the sofa next to Mrs. and went, I want all of them for Christmas, thanks. So,
yeah.
The long sleeve Adidas Originals black and white striped shirt.
Lovely that.
Beautiful. The shell suit. Beautiful. I'm not sure I'd wear it, but...
You're wearing a shell suit now?
I'm wearing a jacket.
It's literally
It's
extremely similar.
Yeah. That's lush. Green t-shirt's nice. I don't know whether...
I like the green t-shirt.
Yeah, it is. It is smart. Maybe it's in isolation.
That's Matty, that for me.
Yeah.
Just when I say
it's very, very similar to the
Matty Shuttleworth.
Matty,
Matty,
I honestly, when I just think Matty would wear that. Like, it just hits him.
I think it's lush like. But
the hoodie's amazing.
It reminds us of the barcode Umbro kit, the last Umbro kit that we had. The blue and white bit in the shorts. It's like they've taken that and gone, right, what can I make a hole? It's lush. I think it's really nice. The hoodie for me as well. The hoodie, the t-shirt. Less so the shell suit. I'm a shell suit man as well, but I'm just not quite as...
You don't like it?
I don't know if it... No, it's not that I don't like it. I don't know if I'm now of an age where I'm less inclined to I'll probably end up with the whole lot. Like, in fairness,
Yeah, let's do it.
Probably just a hoodie for me, actually. So, even though I like all of it on the eye, probably just a hoodie at the minute.
Be interesting to see the prices when they come out.
Oh, $2,000.
aye.
It wouldn't surprise us. So sticking with the retro theme, Josh dives in with his second question of the evening. And he says he went to the retro kit store in the Granger Market this afternoon and he bought himself an RB Salzburg away top. And he wants to know, lads, do you have a favourite retro top that you have that isn't a Newcastle one?
You
And
know
if so, what is it?
You already know mine. So.
Arsenal.
No.
I think an Arsenal are one of the. Oh yeah, Lazio.
I had it on the
Lazio. Ericsson, 88-89?
Without doubt.
1999.
That one's 99-2000. It was a century year.
Right.
And it was Sven when they won the league.
Yeah, aye.
That one, I've got Varane on the back of it. That for me is the greatest shirt ever.
What's yours, Mark? I need to think. I've got loads.
Of what I own,
Uh-huh.
bizarrely, it's an Anderlecht.
Oh, the
Anderlecht
white and
shirt.
purple, aye.
Purple one. Big, like, letter
That's gotta be bigger, a big
on
boy.
on the centre.
Is it Adidas?
Adidas one.
Yeah, aye.
The stripes on there. Beautiful.
Mine, it's a more recent one. It's 20-odd-year-old shirt, like, but it's a Real Betis, the green and white home one. You know
No sponsor.
it doesn't have a sponsor on it, no, but it's got the kind of I forget if it's it might even be the words like kind of sublimated into it's a Kappa one.
I was going to say,
So it's got the thing down the sleeves, the kind
That's
of
what I was gonna
band
say.
at the bottom. It's got Real Betis and little thing. It's a lovely shirt, that like. And I was saying the green and white shirts looks dead smart.
any
I've
Kappa
seen a long-
shirt from the
I've
80s
seen
and
a-
90s was...
I've seen a long sleeve version of it as well. That quite that's taken me fancy. Like so, what on about Kappa shirts. I remember being in Italy in '96 in Venice, and I got the Juve away shirt, the blue one with the white yellow stars on the shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Was a lush
Sony.
shirt. That
Sony.
yeah, aye.
Yeah, lush.
The Ravanelli Champions League.
Yes.
It was lovely. That's one of mine as well. I love that one.
It's a lovely shirt, that.
Anyway, yeah, fitness now, like, but Sony and white in the front. Loads of them though. Loads of them. Not Newcastle.
There is so many like that.
Yeah,
There's so
obviously
many,
there's a kind of famous one. You don't really care for the German stuff, do you?
No, I do think they look nice though.
Aye.
I just couldn't wear a German top.
I've got no problem with a German shirt, like I think I was reading a nice shirt at the minute. That Sporting Lisbon's shirt. It's green, white, and black hoops.
I don't know if
It's very, very tasteful. Like I'm a fan
Oh,
of that. Like.
I tell you one. It keeps popping up on my Facebook all the time. Is the Brazil one, where has it actually got Rio de Janeiro has actually got the
So like this sky, not the skyline, but like the
But
cityscape.
like
yeah.
Christ Redeemer on the.
Oh, it looks
Aye,
amazing.
I've seen that.
Oh, it looks unreal.
Brazil shirt's been crap the last couple of.
But I don't know if this is like a fake one that's
The black one that they had, was it
Yeah.
last season or the season before? That they
Yeah.
used, it was a limited edition one that
Aye.
they won. That was beautiful.
that's
that.
the one. That one, and I've seen it in yellow. The same print. It does look
In yellow.
sexy and black, like, but the yellow I've seen it in yellow as well.
So I think the black one was actually a keeper's top initially, but they all wore it for a one-off game.
Yeah, I think it might have been something along those lines, or it might have been away one that keeper happened away. But yeah, it was something.
I'm sure
yeah.
Scott bought it actually. If Scott's watching, he might drop it in the
So it is
chat.
a Christ- that's smart enough. That yeah, it's really nice.
That one there.
Oh, that looks
sorry,
more like
sorry.
that looks more like a training kit kind of style, doesn't it?
It's lovely that.
Yeah.
I seen that one in yellow the day as well. Actually, I said I kept putting it on my Facebook. It's never going to be off now since I've
No,
screwed
that's
it
your
in.
algorithms on that now. That's it.
But yeah, no, I think that looks really nice. Back not so sure on the back.
I never like to play.
That's a
back.
shame, isn't it?
Never like to play back, mate.
The back's a
Japan
shame.
did it. Japan had a couple that were like a proper raj on the front and just a bit blue
No,
on the back.
yeah.
So we are rapidly running out of time tonight. Chris isn't here, so we could go for about 3 hours, but we'll get wrong if we do that. Obviously, we were meant to be playing tomorrow night, but the weather has played havoc with that. Do you see the pictures and videos down from
Bizarre.
AFC Wimbledon?
I've never seen that happen on a football pitch before.
Unbelievable.
Like
like a sinkhole, wasn't it?
yeah, but it
Like
was
a golf course. It looked like a golf course. It looked like bunkers.
It did, but Plough Lane isn't that close to the river, is it, man? I don't think.
I think it's just how bad it's been. There's been
Yeah.
school closures. There has been hell on down there. Like,
It's a new. I mean, it's only a 5-year-old stadium as well.
yeah, because you could tell by the turf and that it looked new. If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, it's
so-
full of sand.
full of sand. Full of it. Aye.
it is, aye.
I mean, the damage there, like,
But they've had to call the game off against Crewe at the weekend as well, coming up. So
That'll take weeks to
that'll
sort
take
that
a
pitch
while.
out.
They'll
Yeah.
have to start playing more away games. Or
Yeah.
it's a problem for them. That like
we've scored in it, because we're getting a home game out of it. You know what I mean?
it's the home cup match of the year.
Well, we've scored that one.
Our nemesis, Mr. Hope, didn't seem over enamoured with the fact that we had a free week. despite that, it allows us to now get all of our team onto the training pitch for a full week and get them drilled.
That part of us thought, Tonali could have gotten more minutes in his legs, blah blah blah. But then I thought, you know, it's actually no. It means we can just focus on Saturday, which to me means a good thing. Get on the training pitch, tactics boards out, go again, type of thing. So yeah, I think it's a positive in that way.
Yeah, it's got to be made a positive, isn't it? I mean, I expect we'll see some squad rotation in that one. So Asula came on for a little bit against Fulham. Didn't really get to see what he could offer there, like, but hopefully he might get a run at home to AFC Wimbledon.
Do you think we might go about things a little bit differently against Fulham? I know obviously Fulham, Wimbledon, because obviously we generally have a share of the so I think the rules are it's a 50-50 split on gate receipts and revenue and stuff like that in the Carabao Cup.
Is it?
But given we've moved it obviously St James's away from theirs, do you think we might do something with the gate money and stuff?
I think we do.
I hope so. Take your overheads off it and then we'll give them
put it towards the pitch, lads, if needed.
Well, that's the thing. It could, that windfall of playing in front of 50,000, because you'd think it's going to be a sellout. At least we get to use our cup games.
I know.
I
double check I was a member earlier on.
I hope I've got a new credit card aligned to that one. But yeah, like obviously anybody that's in the membership scheme will get that coming out. The timelines are really, really short.
By the end of the week, isn't it?
Yeah.
For that, and then it'll be the
member sale and stuff like that. Will probably have to happen. I think it's probably going to have to do it within a day, 2 days at the most. Anything's left, then it'll be ballot general sale. But
I suppose digital tickets makes it that little bit quicker. Like you're not waiting for the postman so much. But yeah, it's going to have to be. I mean, given how much of a success story the tickets have been so far, I can't see it being. Go without a hiccup, it'll be fine.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. But I wonder whether they'll occupy the home changing room and we'll have to take the away one.
No, it'll not be that drastic.
It'd be interesting to see what because it used to happen fairly regularly in the FA Cup, didn't it? Where the bigger
swap it
team would get. We'll say we'll play it ours and we'll do it. So I wonder if there'll be something like that. Maybe agree a pre-season match, something like that with them.
Jules, I completely read that comment completely wrong there. I just read from Jules I had poppers down the leg, and I was like, "What?" Talking about shell suits, retro shell suits, nothing else.
I got a pair of those shorts recently. Actually, the popper ones. I had a pair when I was a bed, and I got them on eBay for a few quid.
I used to remember youth club, and everyone used to just rip them off. So what are you doing? Legs out a lot.
Well, that's it. That is it for one other week here on the Always Smiling Faces podcast. Hope you've enjoyed it. It has been a little bit different tonight without Christopher in the hot seat. He's currently enjoying his youngest's birthday.
Oh, is that why, is it?
That's why he is, yeah. So happy birthday to Denver.
Denver and Nolan, isn't it?
That's it, yeah. Big fan of Mr. Ball. But thank you for tuning in. Thank you to all of the members for your participation and questions. Thanks as ever to Josh for the donations. If you do want to become a member, you saw it on the screen there earlier, you can do so for only £2.99. In that, you get access to a whole host of exclusive videos ahead of time, exclusive content, and of course, the chat that nobody ever goes into called Decker.
I don't go in it now.
I'm not in the Telegram group, I don't.
Is it still going? That is it?
Yeah, it's still going.
I'm not in it for some reason. When it got moved, I'm not there. Also,
I need another piss bag.
Should we mention that the retro stuff is that the Mags membership, you get a discount.
You do, yeah. So not members of the GallowgateShots YouTube channel. I mean, we're not that close with the club.
No,
you do, yeah. If you are a member or a season ticket holder, I believe you get a little bit of discount.
10%, I believe.
Not bad at all, is it?
We're giving that. I'm expecting.
So it's only £700 for a t-shirt.
I'm expecting to spend about 500 quid on this stuff, so not really, Amy.
But thank you, as ever, to everybody for joining us. It's been a pleasure. Hopefully, as I say, you have enjoyed it, and we will see you later on in the week with a preview of the Man City game.
That's why that way it's sitting so far apart.
Decker's gone for a wee.
He has. Just
getting old.
Looking at the camera,
getting old.
Yeah, that's what it is. He's an old man. He's an old man.
He's a finger up his bum. I'm not volunteering.
As long as he spit on it first.
Good night.